you doing today? My name's Eric. As always, I want to thank you for coming by to check out my video today. On this episode of Smo'King, I'm going to show you how to make a smoked breakfast fatty. Now, what's a breakfast fatty? Well, fatty is basically whatever you want to put inside a bacon weave and put it on your smoker. Now, we just started the week of Christmas. We've had a lot of cold weather, a lot of snowy weather. So the last few videos that I've recorded have been inside, either with the slow cooker or something like that. But the sun is shining a little bit off and on. It's probably in the high 30s. There's still a lot of snow on the ground, but I've been jonesing to get my smoker fired up. And I'm going to try this today, a breakfast fatty. So what it is basically is I'm going to take an onion and a pepper, chop it up, saute it with some scrambled eggs. I'm going to make a bacon weave. I'm going to put some Italian sausage inside, put the eggs on top, some cheese, wrap this thing up on the smoker for a couple hours. So it's going to be breakfast for dinner today. So stick around, guys. I'm going to show you how to do this step by step. Let's get cooking. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is make our bacon weave. Now the key here is you need to have some paper. I have some parchment paper. You can use saran wrap, wax paper. I've even used butcher paper. I guess in a pinch, you could even use aluminum foil. Just something that you can use to help facilitate when you wrap this up. So you take some bacon, and let's see here. I got 6 slices. And I don't know if you guys ever seen this. The bacon weave is pretty easy. So what you're going to do is you're going to basically pull back every other piece. And we're just going to make a little bacon weave. Not very complicated. And this is a simple, really simple thing for you guys to make. If you got a smoker, a pellet smoker, you can do this on a kettle grill. Super easy. So just like that. Now we're going to take the other side here. And another piece of bacon. And sometimes I find that you need to kind of like pull the bacon a little bit just to kind of stretch it because we want it to kind of make this weave. And I got the regular, not the heavy duty thick bacon. I got the, regular grocery store bacon, which is fine because you don't want it super thick. You want something that you'll be able to smoke quickly and still allow enough smoke to get through to the underside where we're going to have the sausage, scrambled eggs, so forth. So I think a couple more pieces and we are done. Not very complicated. You can make this. I'm actually dealing with a 12-ounce package of bacon, so I'm not even a full pound, and it looks like that's going to be more than enough. One more slice here. That. Like I said, you just might have to stretch it a little. Just like that, guys. Look how cool that is, okay? So what I'm going to do now, I'll stick this in the fridge, allow it to get a little cold so it'll help me facilitate wrapping it. In the meantime, I'm going to cook 5 eggs with some diced onions, some diced peppers. I'm going to put a little half and half in there. I'm going to put a little bit of minced garlic. We're just going to cook them. We don't not have to cook them very long, but we want them just enough so we can layer them in here. So I'll meet you guys over at the stovetop. Alright, I have medium heat. I'm melting a little bit of butter. And like I said, I got a half a green pepper and a half a diced onion. You don't need to do this. You could just do the straight scrambled eggs. I think this is just going to add a little bit of flavor. And I had an extra half of a pepper and onion actually from a dish we made earlier this week. So just like that, I'm just going to saute this for a little bit just to soften everything up. And then I'm going to pour in, like I said, 5 eggs with a little bit of half and half, and we're just going to make some scrambled eggs. You guys know how this works. Alright, be back in a minute. Alright, so here we are. I added a little minced garlic. And, yeah, there it is. We don't have to cook this all the way because it is going to cook a little bit when we put it on the smoker for an hour and a half, 2 hours. So like I mentioned, I have 5 eggs that I cracked in a bowl. I put a little bit of half and half. And we're just going to pour this in and stir it until they're cooked. Now we don't have to go crazy on the cooking on this either. We don't want them runny, obviously, but we don't have to cook them till they're like hard and stuff. So give me a minute. We'll cook this. Be back in a second. All right, here we are. It's been a couple minutes. I'll turn off the heat. I'm going to remove it, put it on the other side. Yeah, this is fine. We'll just let it sit in the pan. Now, let me show you a little trick that's going to make it way easier for us to assemble this breakfast fatty. But just leave this on the stove top, move it over, take it off the heat. We're going to need it shortly. Alright, so the next thing I'm going to show you is a really quick and easy way to get this sausage to the position that you're going to be able to spread it on the top of that bacon weave. Now most people I've seen, watched a few videos, people doing this, they would just kind of scoop out the sausage and push it down. This way to me seems like it makes much more sense. All I'm going to do here, I got a pair of scissors. And I'm using mild Italian sausage. You can use hot Italian sausage. You can use breakfast sausage. You know, this dish is really open to individual interpretation. You know, I put onions and peppers. You can put mushrooms. You can put diced up pieces of ham, chicken, beef, pork. I mean, whatever you have. So I got a gallon plastic bag. I'm just going to dump. Peel back that little piece of wax paper that they put in there. Let's see, watch how easy this is now. Now all I'm going to do is I'm going to use my hands without getting them all contaminated with pork sausage and just try to spread this out. It doesn't have to be the full length of the bag, but just into an even amount. And then I'm just going to cut along the bag and plop it on top of the bacon. All right, so here is the sausage. I just spread it out in a nice, somewhat even layer. Some parts are a little thinner than other, but in the grand scheme of things, that's not going to matter. And here's the bacon weave. You just want to kind of do a measurement here. You kind of want it around the same size, maybe a little under size. And then what we're going to do here is I'm just going to cut along the edges and the back side, and I'm just going to peel this on. So give me a second, guys. We'll do that in a minute. Right, guys, I just flipped the bag over here. I just cut it. This makes it much easier. And like I said, you want to kind of have it so a little bit of bacon is shown on each side. Now you can kind of go fine tune it if you need to kind of press down, but it makes it a lot easier and less messy than just trying to do it freestyle. All right, I'm gonna wash my hands real quick. I'm gonna grab the scrambled eggs and some cheese, and we're gonna wrap this bad boy up. Be back in a minute. All right, so the first thing we're gonna do, I have the scrambled eggs here with the onions and the green peppers, and you don't necessarily have to use it all. And I'm gonna try to lopside it a little bit, kind of give me a little bit better opportunity, hopefully, to fold this. The folding is the hardest part, the trickiest part. The rest of it's pretty easy. So let me see. Try to spread that out as evenly as possible. And now I just got regular grated sharp cheddar cheese, okay? You can use slices of cheese, but gotta put some cheese on there. And Monica and Kyle are actually out at the mall doing some Christmas shopping because we're at the Monday before Christmas and they had to do some last minute shopping. So like I mentioned earlier, this is going to be breakfast for dinner. So the cool thing about this recipe is I'm going to roll everything up and I'm just going to keep it in the fridge. Keeping it in the fridge will kind of help it too, because it'll just help it maintain its shape a little longer if it's cool when I put it on the smoker. All right. There you go, guys. Now comes the fun part, wrapping it. Be back in a second to show you how that works. All right, guys. The most challenging part here of the whole experiment here, but that's why you need this wrapping paper. So, I'm going to start to roll this around. Kind of easier said than done, for sure. Because what you got to do is you got to peel it back a little bit as you're wrapping it, see? And we'll do it a little more. It's going to be messy. Just kind of use your hands. Keep peeling back, kind of push down, help it mold it into shape. I think we're pretty done. And what I'm going to do, I got a rack here, okay? And getting this on and off the smoker without some kind of rack can be a challenge, okay? But first what I'm going to do is I'm just going to unwrap it, kind of show you guys how it looks. Peel back here. Look at that. What we're going to have to do here too is on the sides, you're going to have a little overflow here. Just try to see if you can maybe take the bacon, kind of push it into that pork sausage, kind of make a temporary filling. As this cooks and heats up, the bacon's going to become more and more tight. And we'll do the same thing on this end. Just kind of push it in. Kind of fold the bacon around. It doesn't have to be perfect, guys. All right, guys, here we are. Perfect. Like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect. All I'm going to do now is we're going to season the top of it here. I haven't used any seasoning, but be careful because there's some salt in the bacon and you don't have to go crazy. Don't use a real salty rub. If you are going to use a rub with a lot of salt on it, just use it sparingly. Be back in a second. All right, so the last thing we got to do is season it. I'm using Suckle Buster's award-winning competition barbecue rub, but you can use any barbecue rub or seasoning of your choice. I typically like to use stuff with a little bit of a mahogany color just because it goes good on the smoker. And like I said, don't go super crazy because there's some salt in the bacon. We just want to kind of get a nice little mahogany coloring on this. Having it on the rack also makes it much easier to season the sides without trying to manhandle this, because the more you handle it, the more difficult it's going to get. I think that's good. Got a tray. Get this cleaned out. There you go, guys. I'm just going to stick this whole thing in the fridge. You can make this the night before. This is great because they're probably not going to be back for 3-4 hours. And like I said, depending on the temperature you want to cook this at, this is only going to take 2 to 3 hours tops. So yeah, something great to make the night before. Keep it in the fridge. I'll meet you guys downstairs for a drink in around an hour, and we'll try a beer, and then I'll go outside, we'll fire up the smoker, we'll go from there. Alright guys, since that breakfast fatty is chilling in the fridge, so be cooked later on, I'm going to enjoy a beverage here while I wait for Kyle and Mom to get home. This is very interesting, caught my attention immediately. This is by War Pigs Brewing Company. I think you're out of Indiana. Look at this picture on the back there. They're out of Munster, Indiana. And if you know anything about music, specifically Black Sabbath, one of their most famous songs is called War Pigs. And their bass player is named Geezer Butler. So this is called Foggy Geezer, which I'm assuming is a call out to Geezer Butler, the original bass player from Black Sabbath. Hazy Indian Pale Ale. This is a pretty strong one. 7.3% alcohol. Citrus and tropical hop varieties are gathered in masses. That's another play on words. To create this delicious War Pigs IPA. That's like the first lyric in the song War Pigs. Generals gathered in their masses. Just like witches at black masses. Anyway, if you like rock and roll, you've never heard of War Pigs by Black Sabbath, do yourself a favor. It's a classic. I'm sure most of my viewers have probably heard that before. But anyway, never heard of War Pigs Brewing Company? Never heard of Foggy Geezer? It's been a while since I've had an IPA. I probably should have paid more attention before I poured that, because now half the glass is pretty much ahead. We'll give that a second to settle down. 7.3% alcohol. So this is going to be strong. Let's take an initial smell here. Oh yeah. Hoppy and citrusy. Smells a little bit like tangerine and orange, and then a pretty strong hop presence. That's the thing with IPA. They always have that kind of strong bitter taste of the hop. And to balance it out, it's always got to have a little sweetness of some kind of flavor to kind of neutralize the bitterness of the hops. Usually that has some kind of tropical, orange, lemon, tangerine, things of that nature. Alright, look at that, man. Little cloudy, lightly carbonated, big head, strong smell. Smells like a good IPA. Cheers, guys. I appreciate you stopping by, checking out my video today. Looking forward to having breakfast for dinner today. Cheers. Alright. Ooh, very hoppy. It's always a little shock to my system. First beer of the day, especially if you're starting off with a strong IPA. A little shock to the system at first. Okay. Gotta get the taste buds a little warning sip before you start to evaluate. Yeah, that's good. It is good. The sweetness is definitely coming through on the tail end, but it is very hoppy. Oh, fireplace just kicked on. Must be getting a little chilly in here, although I feel fine. Yeah, dudes, this is good. I would recommend this. I just bought a 4-pack. So, yeah, I'll enjoy this and kind of wait. I'm going to play around a little bit on the computer. Maybe upload a video for next week. And wait till everyone gets home. And then I'm going to pull the smoker out. Since we're in the middle of December, I think today is actually winter solace. Is it today or maybe it was yesterday? So we're at the shortest day of the year right now, which means it gets dark at like a little after 4. So I might have to bring some lights out there when I'm smoking this. The good news is, from this point forward, the days start getting a little bit longer by a minute or so every day. So I can't wait now, since we're at the end of December, get into those long summer days that are coming down the peak here, where it's light till around 9 o'clock at night where I live here in Wisconsin. Alright guys, I'm going to enjoy this. See you guys in a few hours when we're ready to fire up the smoker. Cheers. Alright guys, this is what we're dealing with today. It's a week of Christmas, lots of snow, but I haven't smoked in a while. I gotta smoke something, so that's why I decided to do it today. Temperature wise, it's not bad. I think it may be in the high 30s, so everything seems to be melting a little bit. So anyway, let's get that smoker out. Alright guys, we're ready to get going here. I'm using my char griller auto Kamado. It's pitch black out here. It's not even that late, but that's what you deal with living in Wisconsin. So we'll let this go for around 10 minutes or so, get a little fire going. We'll come back, we'll throw on that breakfast fatty. Got a couple little pieces of wood here as well, some cherry wood. We'll throw that in there, give it a little smoky flavor. All right, here it is. Looking good. I put my temperature probe in using the chef's temp. And yeah, let's go outside, throw this on the smoker. All right, let's get this party started here. Put one big piece cherry wood there. We'll put one right here. All right, I'm gonna put the heat deflector down. Yeah, we'll try to heat this up. I'm gonna go 275, I think, just because I want to get this done quicker. You could do it at 250, which probably would take a couple hours, and I think at 275 we're probably like 90 minutes. You know, also for the fact that it's so cold out here right now. So let's get this thing started. All right, guys, here we are. Ooh, is it cold out here? So let's do 275. Okay, let's do temperature 275. All right, D2, which is asking for you to adjust the top dampener, which is right here, to 0.2. Yeah, we'll try to get this up to around 275 and stabilize this before we throw the fatty on. Be back shortly. Hey guys, it's hovering at around 220. Look at this. Got a little smoke rolling. Like I said, I'm going 275. Let's start this real quick. We'll start to cook. I'm doing 160 because, yeah, I'll take it off, cover it for a little bit. It'll get up to 165. All right, there we go. I'm going to go inside. We'll check on this in a little bit. All right, guys, let's take a look. Saying it's internal 118. Woo! Wow. Look at this. Let's take a closer look here. Apologize for it being so dark out here, but man, it's looking good. All right. I'm just going to continue to let it go. We'll be back, but man, I like that the bacon is kind of getting a little crispy, it looks like. Not quite there yet. All right, it just buzzed that it hit internal temperature of 163. Man, it went pretty quick. I wasn't paying attention. Let me pause this real quick. We'll take a look here. Woo! All right, we want to take it to 165, but let's let me zoom in here so you guys can kind of take a look here. We'll take some independent temperature readings here and see where we're at. $164. I'm trying not to go too deep, like within the egg. I want to get in that pork layer. Yeah, I think this is done. Yeah. Obviously over here. Yeah, this is okay. So there we go, guys. Let's take a look here. Yeah, I think cooking it at a little bit higher temperature, just make sure that bacon gets nice and crispy. It's actually got a little crispy. There must have been a little bit of flame coming up maybe. But yeah, looking good. I'm going to take this off, put it inside, cover it loosely with foil for around 20 minutes. We'll be back, slice this up. All right, here we are. I've had it covered for around 15 minutes. I do like the color of it. It looks like it got a little crispy, but you know, when you wrap something in bacon, you always want to make sure the bacon is crispy. And it looks like, oh, here comes Dixie. She hears me. Well, you know what? I'm just going to cut it down the middle. Show you guys. Let's see. There's still some toothpicks and stuff in there I got to remove, but let's just go right here. All right. Let's see what we got going on. Dixie, calm down. Ooh. Oh, guys. Oh, that's hot. Look at that, guys. Oh, my goodness. Wow. Okay. Nice and juicy. let's cut a couple slices here. Hopefully you guys can see, I don't know, maybe like an inch, I think. Should be around right. Right? I don't know. I've never made this before. Look guys, look at the juice dripping from this. Oh my goodness. Okay. Let me get the family up here. We're gonna have some hash brown patties with this. Kind of keeping with that breakfast theme. Look at that cheese melted in the center. Wow. Alright guys, be back in a minute. Welcome back. I'm here with my wife Monica.
Hi.
I haven't tried this, but I'm looking forward to this. Let's just take one here and we'll just, should I slice it right in half?
Yeah.
Alright, let's try that.
The smoky smell. Oh my gosh, when I pulled in the driveway and it smelled smoky, it was so,
Alright.
so good.
Breakfast fatty. Looks like there's a little bit of a smoke ring.
Okay.
Alright. Cheers, guys. It tightens up as you cook it and it warms up.
It did, huh?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, this is really good.
No, I think it's really good.
And I was a bit skeptical, wasn't I?
Well, you're just not a big sausage fan. That's why we used Italian sausage instead of breakfast sausage. Cause
I like this.
Monica doesn't like breakfast sausage.
It's
I
just the
do.
seasonings I don't really care for, but...
I was going to get like a Bob Evans or...
No, this
in California it would be called Farmer John's, you know, the pork sausage you get in the tube. But I just bought this from the local supermarket, just Italian sausage. I almost wish I would have done hot.
No.
Now, what do you think?
This is good. Because then kids can eat it too. Mmm.
It's very good and very juicy.
Mm-hmm. Mmm.
Some people like to coat barbecue sauce on it. No, I think it's good just the way it is.
This is delicious.
Mm.
You can always add that. You can always add that later too, right? If you wanted to, like when you've cut the pieces.
Sure,
If somebody wanted it, I mean, no, this is great.
No.
I think barbecue would almost take away from that. Well, unless you did it on the outside, you could, but.
The flavor of that smoked sausage is really coming through the meat. I mean, that's what's really coming with the eggs and the bacon. The bacon's nice and crispy, but not too crispy. I mean, just kind of soft.
This is perfect.
Yeah, it's very good.
And smoky.
And smoky.
And I like smoke, so.
As always, guys, I appreciate you stopping by to watch the video. If you like it, please hit the like button.
Please.
This logo on my shirt is the logo on the bottom of the screen. Click on that. It allows you to subscribe to my channel. Please do that. It helps my channel grow. And I'll leave a link above and below to my website, ericsmokingbbq.com. That's where I have all my recipes, photos, descriptions, the whole bit. Go check that out. As always, guys, thanks for stopping by. Man, I almost wish I would have made a couple of these.
It's good.
Yeah. We'll see you next time, guys. Thanks for stopping by.